There's a few important things that you need to know as you're putting the flashings on before you start doing the cladding. The first thing is the toe flashing. So we've used this toe flashing, which has a 100mm leg and a squash fold L that is 25mm deep. That means that regardless of whether the corrugated sheet is lapping in or lapping out, the edge is covered and it looks nice and neat. It's very important that you get those toe flashings level. So pick a reference point and then level all the way around the job. That just makes it easier when you're working up the wall to make sure that everything's straight. We've spent a fair bit of time truing up this wall. Obviously this one's inside. We've used standard pine. If it's outside, you'd use treated pine or steel battens rather than the timber ones, but this is okay for illustration purposes. And you'll see there that we've got two stacks of corner pieces. So the ones that I'm pointing to now are our external corners. They're going to go on this corner here and on the small corner over there. And then we also have internal corners, which basically means that the colour's on the inside, and that's going to go on that inside corner leg there. We set up all the corners first to make sure that everything is level, so that when you go to put the flat sheets on, everything lines up nicely and it's a really quick process. Now we're about to start installing our corners. There's a couple of other things to note. The first corner is going to go on like this, but you need to make a decision about which of the walls you want to have lapping in at the bottom and which ones you want to lap out. So I've decided that this is going to be our main wall, so we want it to lap in at the bottom. You'll notice that this corner piece doesn't lap in at the bottom, so we're going to have to trim it. So I'm now going to show you how to trim that. Okay, so now I'm going to trim the first corner using one of the flat sheets with the bottom edge lapping in, and basically just use that as a template to trim the corner piece. Push down hard on that last corrugation so that it finds the right position. Draw a line to trim to, and that gives you your first side. Then I just use a square from this edge to the inside. And you can trim with hand snips or whatever your preference might be. And there's the first piece ready to install. We're ready to install the first corner, the one that we just trimmed. We pin it in place using some 8-gauge timber screws and with a countersunk head. And the reason for that is that they pull in and you end up with the head of the screw below the surface or at the surface of the metal in the valley here. And that means that when you put the flat sheet on, it'll go down flat, it won't sit proud. We're using 70 by 35 timber battens here. These ones are not treated. If it's outside, they'd need to be treated. You can use 90 by 35 or any other dimension you like, really, but the important thing is to make sure that these are positioned so that you can fix through the flat sheet and the corner to pull the join nice and tight. So I've actually just placed these battens so that this edge here is flush with the corner on both sides, and that leaves enough room for me to put the flat sheet on and also pin further back. So I'll pin the first one on now. Just holding it in place. And that just holds it nice and tight. I'm going to put 2 screws in this side and 2 screws in that side, and that just holds it in position. Sometimes there's a little bit of twist in these parts, that just holds it nice and firm so that we can then install the next piece. I use a 5.5mm drill bit to drill a pilot through here to locate the screws. The screws are located on the second corrugation in from the top and bottom, and roughly 10mm in from the outside edge of the batten. That just ensures that the screw line for the join fixing and the screw line here don't interfere with one another. All right, so I'll go ahead and put the second screw in now. Okay, so I'm ready to install the second piece. The second piece doesn't need trimming. It actually doesn't matter whether the joins here match up with the joins in the flat sheets. In fact, some cases it's better. Something to note, this can obviously go that way or that way, but you'll find that one will match much better than the other. So try that both ways and choose the one that has the best match. I've already done that, and I know that this is the best. So same as we did before, you do your 5.5mm pilot hole and then put a screw in. The next piece on. And then the 2 on the other side. And don't forget to take the plastic off. There's your second piece. We have 3 corners on now. You might not be able to see it on the video, but one of the joins is here and the other joint is here. We'll put one more short piece on the top. We'll just trim the top of it so that'll sit underneath the flashing, the head flashing that we'll put on afterwards. It's important to note that once this first piece is on, that basically sets the positions for all the subsequent pieces. So providing the toe flashing is flat and that first piece goes on all right, these corrugations will line up across all the corners, and then it's just a matter of putting the flat sheets on top. We just have one more short piece to go to finish this. I'm just going to finish it level with the top of the battens. I'll just hold the part up in position and then mark it at the top of the batten and then square it off and trim that, and then I'll come and install it.